Set, the god of destruction, had murdered Osiris, the god who reigned supreme in Egyptian mythology. Set took the throne from his brother for himself and unleashed his reign of terror. Nevertheless, Osiris had generated an heir together with the goddess Isis. His name was Horus. This was a falcon god, whose prophecy said that he would reign over the skies and would bring the light back to Egypt, ending the darkness brought by Set. Horus, already an adult, decided to claim his throne, which had been usurped by his uncle. The contention is judged by the gods, while the court, presided over by the sun god Ra, decided who would be worthy to sit on the throne. A series of clashes between Set and Horus had begun. Set had Ra's sympathy, since the usurper protected the sun god from the serpent Apophis, while the latter crossed the skies. Set proposed a challenge to Horus. Both would have to transform themselves into hippos and should be submerged for 3 months. Horus relied on his mother, the goddess Isis, to take advantage of Set's vulnerability to kill him. The goddess felt sympathy for Set and could not kill him. This betrayal enraged Horus, who then attacked his mother, cutting off her head. The god Thoth, the deity of knowledge, saved the goddess, replacing the severed head with a cow's head. The clash between Set and Horus continued for many years. When fighting in the desert, Set managed to pluck Horus's eyes. Due to Hathor's help, the goddess of love, Horus had his vision restored. The court of gods demanded a reconciliation between Set and Horus. The evil god, pretending to be benevolent, invited Horus for a feast in his palace. During the night, Set tried to abuse his nephew, making him unworthy to the throne. However, Horus managed to defend himself and prevented the god's poisonous seed. Horus decided to take revenge and, with the help of the goddess Isis, the god placed his divine seed in lettuce leaves, which were then offered to Set by the goddess Isis. The god of barren deserts ate the contaminated lettuce. Poisoned, Set started to deteriorate in front of everyone, and a golden disc emerged in his forehead. Thoth grabbed the bright disc and ingrained it in her own head. Seth had been humiliated, and that was when, after 80 years, the court granted Horus the throne that was his by right. Isis couldn't be more proud to see her son, with Osiris assuming the father's throne. Set's fate was to travel with Ra, the sun god of the skies, and his enraged screams could be heard with thunder. And so, Horus's reign over Egypt began.
Peace to all my guys and goddesses out there at Grand Rising. No cap, you feel that sun, you feel that no kizzy, bro. But I'm gonna just make this video quick about hair, our ether, as carbonated beings, you know what I'm saying? The only people on the planet that hair grows up and defies gravity like a plant, you know what I'm saying? Only hair, you know what I'm saying? Our afros look like trees. Everything is a reflection of us. Nature is a reflection of us. We are nature. Nature is us. You know what I'm saying? I, as in the soul. I am connected with everything. Nature is us. Afros look like trees. Locks look like branches and vines. It's essential to have your hair as a carbonated being. You know what I'm saying? It's essential. You know, our hair absorbs the most vitamin D from the sun. You know what I'm saying? Our hair absorbs more vitamin D and it stores information. Our hair is an extension of our nervous system. If you get what I'm saying, it's an extension of our nervous system. It comes out of our heads and comes out like a plant. You know what I'm saying? Our hair is alive. It grows up like a plant. What does a plant do when it dies? It falls over like every other being, human beings. I'm being real right now. I'm being real, and I don't give a fuck if you not carbonated, you watching this video. I'm just teaching my people. If you have a problem, simply just click off the video because I do not give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But our hair grows out our scalp like a plant. It's an extension of our nervous system. It stores light codes. It stores information. You know what I'm saying? It stores knowledge. It strengthens our aura. Hair is important. As a carbonated being, you're supposed to have hair. And locks strengthen aura. And you know, the longer your hair is, the more hair you have, the more you get the light codes. Cause your hair is longer, you absorb more. That's why locks. That's why locks is as soon as I start the video. That's why locks is important. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why locks is important. That's why you see most of the wisest people, they be having locks, you know, like carbonated beings, they have locks because all the information they gather around, it connects us in our environment, you know what I'm saying? On some real hell no. But yeah, let me finish the video from right here. But yeah, it connects us to our environment. Locks connect us to our environment, like the nature and all of that. It connects us. It connects us with everything, everything. Locks is essential, you know what I'm saying? Or just hair, some type of hair matters. Hair, our ether, because we have ether, you know, our stuff came straight from the cosmos. It's the only hair on the planet. We are natural beings. We are the natural beings of this planet. We are gods and goddesses. We are not like anybody else. That's what they teach you. We're all the same. No, we're not the same. They brainwashed us to believe that. And now when we say that, people be like, oh, these racists. Nah, because you've been brainwashed for so long. When we talk about the truth, now you like, no. Fuck that. Fuck your feelings and fuck how you feel. If you're not carbonated, stop getting your fucking feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like on some real, we just trying to teach.
Ancient spirits who have passed on to come back through. So if we look at these ancestors, we can see a crocodile. That crocodile is Sobek. You can also see a bull. The bull is really Hathor, and you also have a reptilian right there who is really Wedjet. This one right here is a pig or a hog. I don't know where the hell they get that from. The ancient ancestors have been depicted as the evil ones inside of this cartoon. Now, these guys will come through the sentient avatar called Mum-Ra via Kundalini serpent energy. If you look at Mum-Ra, he has a caduceus on his hood, and he wears it on his chest when he powers up. So he's powering up using chakra energy or Kundalini energy, and he was connected to third earth spiritually and channeled the forces of nature, which were called evil in the cartoon. As far as Mum-Ra, his crime is plotting to destroy the Thundercats. Keep in mind, he's the protector of third earth, so his crime is protecting what was his. His weapon is powerful, immortal sorcery. He's a sorcerer. He's dealing with dark magic of his ancestors. Inside his pyramid, there's a cauldron of primordial waters that help him intensify magical spells. Mum-Ra's superpower consists of magic, and that is diametrically opposed to the Thundercats, who mainly deal with technology. Hoverboards, a thunder tank, that's an airliner, but they call it a feliner. Projectors, they got flat screens, they got computers, and then they have the token black guy, Panthro, and you see right here, it says he's a mechanic. This goes to show how they're mostly dealing with technology for the good guys and magic for the bad guys. We have to acknowledge that inside the name Mum-Ra, you see the name Ra. You see what that is he's wearing? That's an Ankh family. The official name of this pyramid that Mum-Ra lives in is called the Black Pyramid. The Black Pyramid has 4 obelisks around it, and it was an electrical energy center to power Mum-Ra, the avatar, after excessive use. They also call this Black Pyramid the Onyx Pyramid. We know pyramid really means house. So now when we say Black Pyramid, I can't help but to make the connection of the diametric opposite of a black house, a white house. So Mum-Ra lives in the black house, and his black house is an electrical energy center. All the bad guys under Mum-Ra were all African animals from the Kemetic pantheon. We're going to start with Slith. I was listening to Credo, the African griot, and he was referring to the reptilian, and he pulled out a little statue that looks just like Slith, Monkeyin. Monkeyin, as you can see, is really a baboon. Monkeyin the baboon holding the eye of Horu. So now we have Mum-Ra from Egypt. We have Slith from Egypt. Well, I didn't really prove Slith was from Egypt. Jeckelman. Jeckelman is a jackal, not a dog. Anubis, the jackal-headed guide of the dead. Anubis was not a dog. Vultureman. This picture of Vultureman, he has an eye amulet around his neck. We can see the vulture and we have the eye. They do not live in the Onyx Pyramid. They live in Castle Plundar. Castle Plundar was an evil replica of the Lion's Lair, which is a copycat of the Egyptian Sphinx. We talked about the pyramid, which was the Black House. Well, Castle Plundar was built by slave labor, just like the White House was built by slave labor. Castle Plundar was built by a race of people indigenous to Third Earth called Brute Men. Thundercats had a ton of Afro-Kemetic symbols and imagery.
The Eye of Thundera, a Thundercat's in danger.
Lionel get his third eye popping, and it gives him specifically sight beyond sight.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight.
Which is what our third eye gives us. Dreaming, melatonin, things of that nature. On the dollar is a seal, like you stamp a letter with. On the top of the seal is an eye. This is the same imagery that you're going to find inside Thundercats, because this is all occult. Just like there is occult imagery on the dollar, there's occult and Masonic imagery inside of Thundercats. That's the third eye, the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra, the eye of Osiris. And I put a sphinx or a cat right in front of it to hopefully help you make that connection. In the cartoon, Lionel has a lion's paw called a claw shield. In Masonry, there's something called the Masonic lion's paw grip. When you greet your brother, you greet them like this. Go watch my video, Breaking the Masonic Code, part 1 and part 2. I explain all of this as far as the Masonic Code, what it looks like, so on and so forth. The Masons got they from Egypt family. There's the lion raising up a dead body. This dead body is the grand architect. His name is Hiram Abith. He is dead because he was killed by 3 ruffians. They tried to raise him, and when one guy tried to pick him up, he couldn't do it. When the other guy tried to pick him up, he couldn't do it. But they required the lion's paw to pick him up. It was King Solomon who had to come off of his throne to raise Hiram Abith from the dead, and King Solomon had to use the lion's paw. And they be like, oh yeah, to be a Mason, they gotta put you in a coffin. This is symbolic of you being the great architect of the universe, and they put in the lion's paw grip to raise you from the dead to a perpendicular state. These are all Masons going through their degrees. The Thundercats lived inside the Sphinx. If you look at the mysteries of the Sphinx, underneath the left paw is a cavity under the earth, which they call a mysterious chamber, which some Masons or Moors call that an adept chamber. It is said that Timothy Drew came from under the left paw of the Sphinx, and he brought the keys from the adept chamber. Now, when the Thundercats leave from their cat's lair, they leave from under the left paw. Just like Thundera is equivalent to Krypton because their planet blowed up and now they're an alien invader, the sign and the symbol to call the Thundercats is the same sign and symbol to call Batman. So we got a copycat on our hands. We got a cat burglar. When we look at Lionel, there was something very phallic with the way that the sword grew when Lionel needed it. The knife resembled a penis. Panthro was a brother. He was a black panther. He had a wide nose, dark skin, and he had a bald head. Panthro was played by the voice of Earl Hyman.
Sorry about that.
Typically, when you have a brother inside of a cartoon, he's going to have a deep voice. Most of the melanated people on the cartoon series Family Guy all have super deep voices.
You're right, Peter. We need to give you a chance, no matter what color your skin is.
With the exception of Cleveland.
They're gonna kill Donna.
Jaga is the spirit that watches, guides, and protects the Thundercats. That's Ja. What does he have in his hand? A sword. Where did Lionel get the sword of omens from? Jaga. Does Jaga look like Ali Selassie? In terms of Rastafarianism, they give honor to the